Hey, friends. Welcome to the Self-Love Strong podcast. Today, we're diving deep into what it really means to rise from self-hate to self-love, to turn wounds into wisdom and pain into power. I'm joined by none other than Cam Kashani, also known as the spiritual surgeon. Cam helps women heal on the soul level, divine feminine, with boldness, truth, and authenticity. From founding startups to taking up the tech space, to now guiding women through her deep inner healing, Cam's story is about raw power, radical self-trust, and unapologetical self-love. This is one for everybody who's ever questioned, where their worth is. Cam, I'm super excited you're here and thankful for you willing to be sharing your message.
I'm super excited to be here too. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes. Honestly, with all the amazing work that you're doing, Cam, where was that breaking point, that moment where, that awakening started, where, you want to start your healing journey?
Yeah, great question. It was my divorce, which was about 12 years ago. I was going through a divorce. I was a single mom to twin boys that were just 1.5 years old at that time. Yeah, and I was feeling every emotion you can possibly imagine and not the great ones, right? Like I was going through so much pain. I was going through so much darkness. I was going through so much questioning of myself, my self-worth, my self-trust. My divorce brought up every single wound that had been dormant in me prior. And so I went through this period where I was in complete victimhood. And I was like, I can't believe this is happening to me. I can't believe I've been, this is what is going on? Why me? Why me? Why me? Right. And I got to a place where I was like, I don't want my story to define me. I want to be in charge of my life. I want to be the one that's in power. I want to be the one who creates my story. I don't want my story to be the one having that energy over me, right? So, as the universe works, I was exposed to this beautiful seminar at that time. And that began the journey of inner work. I did seminars, I read books, I hired a coach. I went really, really deep into every single pain point that I had, into every single wound that I had. And it was a lot of work, and it was really painful, and it was very confronting, and it brought up so of absolute radical self-responsibility, which I think is so connected to your power, to your authentic power, like you taking full responsibility for your life and you really taking that driver's seat and doing everything that you can do to become the best possible version of you so that your subconscious isn't running your life is really what can help you become the best you. And that's what I did. And I was able to transform from being like a quiet, quote unquote, good girl that would never speak up, didn't know my truth, couldn't speak my truth, attracting abusive relationships and friendships, to this really loud, proud, and powerful woman that doesn't put up with anything from anyone. And that was like my turning point of, okay, if I can become this, there's no question that any other woman who is committed to herself can as well. And so that's when I began coaching.
Man, Cam, that is a truly powerful story, because, many of us have found ourselves in that situation asking ourselves, why me? But I love how you took that situation and turned it really to introspective. You just said, hey, I can do the work. Many times we find ourselves in that situation and we stop, we freeze, and we remain in fear. But I love how you decided to, hey, I'm going to take this and grow from it. I'm going to do the work. I'm going to learn and grow through it. What role would you say that self-trust played in your transformation?
Well, to be honest, at that time, I had zero self-trust. I had a 12-year marriage that just ended, and I was a single mom overnight. I had lost my company because I had my company was with my ex-partner, so I was completely lost and naked in the universe. I felt like everything I had done was wrong. So my self-trust it wasn't an active part of this. It was more like I had this deep inner feeling, this energy that showed up like deep in my stomach, deep in my root, deep in my core, that was guiding me. I felt guided. I felt really guided to go down this path of transformation, to go down this path of becoming the best possible me, and to not sitting in my shit. Like, I just didn't want to sit in this dark space. I didn't want to sit in anger, in resentment, in betrayal, in all of those lower vibrational energies. It was like I'm sick of this and I really want to be happy. So the self-trust was definitely not there. It is now. I have a lot of self-trust now, and it's been a beautiful journey to get here. But at that time,
Yes, yes. I totally understand. Like you were going through a whirlwind of emotions and a whirlwind of change, I hear.
Yeah.
But I love how you said there, I didn't start off with that self-trust. And maybe somebody's listening to this and like, I don't find myself trusting myself. But I love how you said that there's a way out. I know many times we find ourselves in those challenges and we feel stuck. So how can somebody like a woman begin to turn that pain into power when they're in the middle of it? I know you said you went for coaching, you started to read the books, you went to seminars. What are some key strategies that you found that really helped you in the middle of that challenge?
Yeah, great question. First and foremost, I always encourage people to set an intention. We are not aware of how powerful it is just to state and declare exactly what we want from a space of authority. So what I did was just like, universe, spirit, God, whatever you believe in, please, like, my intention is to heal. My intention is to embody my power. My intention is to let go of the victim stories. And my intention is to really remember the truth of who I am before all of those things happen to me. When you do that, the universe literally shifts, and all of a sudden, little signs, little conversations, things start showing up. There is a divine intelligence out there that is absolutely guiding us at all times, should we choose to really tap into it, and should we choose to trust that. So that's my first encouragement, is setting the intention. And then from there, it's feeling your feelings. The key to healing is feeling. Like, really letting yourself go deep into any pain you feel. I went so deep into the feeling of anger, into the feeling of sadness. I went so deep into it that it almost feels like you're going to die. Like, it's such a strong, overwhelming sense of emotion that takes over. But you do that, a feeling fully felt lasts only 90 seconds. We don't realize that. Only 90 seconds, right? So if you let yourself go so deep into that pain, which we're conditioned to avoid, we're conditioned to push the pain away, we're conditioned to have a drink, we're conditioned to take a pill, we're conditioned to do whatever we can to not feel it, right? But if you let yourself really feel it and go into that, that begins one hell of a transformation. And minute after minute, hour after hour, feeling after feeling, all these different things start coming up, and you meet them with love. You meet them with love. You meet them with compassion. You meet them from a space of like really loving yourself. And you might have to fake that until you get there. At first we don't necessarily love ourselves, but you want to show up for yourself the way you would show up for your best friend, the way you would show up for someone that you love, the way you would show up for your child. Like, really just like, I love you. It's okay. We're going to get through this. I got you. I know we'll get there. I know we're not there yet, but at some point we will. And that begins a really beautiful process of, aligning with yourself, loving yourself, and healing.
Wow, man, that is just so powerful. I love something you really started off that with. It was setting that intention. I think that's such a powerful statement in itself, because many times we're entering the situations and letting other people dictate or give our power away. But I love how you said, when you set that intention about how you want to show up, it really sets the mood of where you're going to go. I think many times we give that power away, but man, you said something so powerful and it really spoke to me. Feeling is healing. I want people to really let that sink in. That was such a powerful statement there, like you said, Cam, because like you said, we're all taught to avoid our feelings or bury them down deep, or maybe that's just how we self-soothe. But really feeling that emotion and realizing that that's going to really allow us to grow, but really set that intention at the same time. Man, Cam, that's so powerful.
Yeah, yeah. And it's, it's simple, but it's not easy, right? The concept
Yes.
is pretty simple, but the actual doing of it, it's confronting. It's confronting. It requires you to take responsibility for your part in the equation and no longer blame somebody else. It requires you to show up for yourself, which is also something that we've never been taught. We have not been taught to show up for ourselves. We've been taught to show up for everyone else. We've been taught to betray ourselves. We've been taught to, as a mom, right? Mothers are taught to sacrifice, sacrifice, sacrifice. We're not taught to take care of us first, which is all we need to do. When we really come from that place of loving ourselves and taking care of ourselves, your life can really transform.
Yes. Wow, man, that is so true. So powerful, Cam, man. Beautiful, beautiful message right there. Now, can you share with us what it means to be that spiritual surgeon and how spiritual psychology, you guides what you do for work?
Yeah. So, yeah, I have my degree in spiritual psychology and I have my doctorate in spirituality. And the spiritual surgeon is a nickname that my clients started giving me because when I'm working with people, I'm really able to help them come to a space of where the original wound started, right? And for women, on a kind of, men and women both have wounds, but my work obviously is specifically women. And women, we're born into this world and we are programmed to believe that something is wrong with us, that there's an
Mm,
answer outside of us, in a pill, in a surgery, in losing
mm,
weight, in a husband, in
yeah.
children, in whatever. We're not taught or shown our true power because we are so incredibly powerful. And when we're taught that
Mm,
something is wrong with us, instead, we put all of our energy into constantly trying to fix ourselves and not in allowing ourselves and being ourselves and really showing up in the truth of who we are. So when I work with
mm,
clients, it's really guiding them to that space of where did this wounding begin, aside from societal conditioning, which plays such a big part of it, right? And that's the programming. But also, what happened in your life as a child? What happened that really made you believe you're less than, that made you believe you're not worthy,
mm,
that made you believe you don't deserve everything that you deserve? And this is how self-sabotage shows up. This is how imposter syndrome shows up. This is how you attract toxic relationships, toxic friendships, getting paid less than you deserve. This is all related to the original wounds. So really coming into that and then helping heal from there. So it's like the spiritual surgeon approach to healing the wounds.
I love that. I love that. I think it's so important, like you said, to really identify your wounds. And I love something you said so powerful there is that we all have wounds. I think that's a true statement. I think many people are like, you know what? No one knows how I feel. I'm the only person with this, this trauma. But we all have those wounds, and how it shows up in our lives are obviously going to be different. But I love how you said that something that needs to be addressed. I think many times we put the Band-Aid on and we think that's enough. But really, I love that you get down to it and you really identify it.
Yeah.
What are some of the most common blocks of self-love that you find with your clients?
Yeah, the number one thing that I see, and there was a period of time I coached men too, so this applies to everyone, is I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy is this program that's running in the background and it's in our blind spot. It's not like I know I'm not worthy and I don't deserve it. You're not like operating from a conscious space of
Yeah.
that. This is a subconscious belief that's running in the background. And again, this is something that we're programmed with in a society where everything is overconsumption, in a society where you need to look like that and your body needs to look like this and your hair needs to look like this and this needs to look like this. everyone has a level of unworthiness. And we're also, in a sense, carrying our parents and our lineages unworthiness as well. It's not just our own. Like, that's how family systems work. We are holding what our parents were holding as well. It takes that one person to begin to heal. And once you begin to heal, you're healing a family's worth of stuff. So it's really a matter of like coming into that space of trying to feel into like, what are these subconscious beliefs that are running the show? What is it that, and you can tell by looking at your life, right? Like I said, are you getting paid less than you deserve? Are you working a job you don't like? Are you in a relationship that's abusive? Are you in a relationship that's toxic? Are you in friendships that aren't both sided? Like it feels one sided. Are you letting yourself constantly attract drama? Are you constantly engaged in conflict? Are you operating in a space of imposter syndrome? Like all of these things point back to I'm not worthy in some way, shape, or form.
Wow. Wow. That is very eye-opening because, many times, like, when I hear that, I'm like, wow, you're right. It really, I love those questions you ask because it's so true. There's not like, a guesswork. It's honestly like if you can answer those questions, it really can dictate, like you said, of identifying where you're at. And I think I love something you said that we all struggle with a form of unworthiness, but it really tracks down to how we respond and how we react and what we accept in our lives. I never really thought about how you view your worth shows up in so many different areas of your life and how it dictates how you respond. Wow.
Yeah, it's everything. I mean, I used to operate from such a severe space of unworthiness. I had friends that would use me. I was in toxic relationships, abusive relationships. I could never speak up. I didn't think that what I had to say was worthy of being heard, and now that I'm in the absolute complete opposite of that space, it's incredible how life begins to just come together and you become a magnet for all of the beautiful things. Like I have the most amazing friends. I have the most incredible husband. My children are watching me be in my worth, which is helping them learn how to be in their worth, not put up with toxic friendships and toxic behavior. I put up with a lot from people for a very long time, and not to blame them. It was bringing attention and awareness to what I wasn't seeing in myself. All of these things happen because they are mirroring these wounds to us. So we can't blame anybody. We actually have to be grateful to them. Like, thank you so much for showing me that I am operating in this absolute space of unworthiness. Thank you for showing me that I need to work on this. Thank you for shining a light on my wound, right? And when you operate from that place, life becomes really magnetic. Life becomes, there's always stuff happening, but life becomes so much more beautiful. And you are really vibrating from a place of such deep self-love. Like you're not tied to loyalties. You're not tied to things that don't serve you. Loyalty is something, for example, that we're taught is a really good thing. And yes, to an extent it is. And if you're doing it at the cost of self-betrayal, that's not loyalty. The ultimate loyalty is you. Are you being loyal to you? And coming from that place, your whole experience of life changes.
Man, that is so powerful. I love what you said, man. I love everything you said. It's so powerful, such a powerful message of, how when we truly show up good for ourselves, like you said, it models it for everyone else. And I love like you said that, because I think many times we're wanting to show up better for the people around us, but not putting ourselves first. But I love how you said that when you step into that power, you start having that higher self-worth, it really allows people to do that for themselves as well. I think many times, like you said, society says, like you said, that loyalty it comes to a fault where it's diminished around others. But I love how you said it. When you show up powerfully and authentically who you are, it allows people to do the same. That's such a powerful statement there, Cam. I love that.
Thank you. Yeah, it's
But I would
true.
love to know this: as you to create that divinest lux, and what does it mean to embody that divine light?
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you. It's divinous lux.
Oh,
Divinous
thank
lux.
you.
Yeah,
Sorry, divinest
it's
lux. Sorry.
totally fine, no problem. And it does translate to divine light. And it's me and my business partner, who's also my best friend. And the purpose and the mission of this company is to help women embody their divine feminine, to usher women into their divine feminine. And the divine feminine is the most powerful consciousness of the feminine that exists. It is something that every single one of us has inside of us. It's a really beautiful, authentically empowered energy. And as women, we haven't actually been shown a woman in her absolute power. We've been shown little bits and pieces of, here's a woman who's a leader. Here's a woman who's able to handle being a mom and working and this, that. But we haven't been shown the power of the feminine. The feminine power is just so extraordinary. She operates from a space of absolute unconditional self-love. She doesn't judge herself. She only loves herself. She doesn't compare herself with anyone else. There's no envy. There's no jealousy. She lifts other women up with her. She loves those around her. She has supremely strong boundaries. Nobody can mess with her. She operates from a space of trust in herself, trust in the process, trusting every instinct. Her intuition is what guides her. We have been programmed to believe that our intuition is woo-woo, that our intuition is not something that is valuable. We've been told to put all the credit outside of us into science and whatnot. And all of those things are great. And your intuition is there for a reason. It's a really powerful guide. It takes me everywhere. It's brought me everywhere. It's that gut feeling. It's the knowings that have come through that have guided me to where I am. And so the divine feminine is that beautiful energy that is within, that guides you to your highest possible timeline so that you can live your highest and best life. And so what we do is help women reconnect with that energy. And it brings you to power. It brings you to peace. It brings you to a frequency of trust that is absolutely unmessable.
Oh, that's awesome. I love that. I love that. It's such a powerful mission and something I agree we 100% need. So how can women practically begin to reconnect with their authentic power?
Yeah, there's a lot of different ways, but for the sake of this conversation, the things that there's three practices that I'm a big fan of that I do myself, that I've been coaching women to do for over a decade now. And the number one is inner child work. So the part of us that reacts to things that happen in life, the part of us that gets triggered, the part of us that is, not fully mature, so to say, is the little one inside of us. And it's absolutely critical to connect with the little one inside and to offer unconditional love, because chances are from our parents, we didn't get unconditional love. The love had conditions. You have to get good grades. You have to make sure you eat all your food. You have to make sure you clean your room. And as a child, you interpret this, that if I don't do that, I won't be loved. And this creates a belief that I'm unlovable unless I perform, unless I do this. This is what will make me loved. So you want to connect with your little one and begin to give your little one absolute unconditional self-love. Love, unconditional love. That begins a process where you are building real deep trust with yourself and with that little one inside. And then you are able to go through life together from a more healed space instead of from the little one who reacts, right? So that's one aspect. The next one is connecting to your higher self, your divine self, your soul self, that part of you that is connected to source, that part of you that's connected to God. Connecting with that energy reminds you how incredibly powerful you are. And sitting in that energy in meditation is how I always encourage it. You call it forward and you call forward. I call forward my soul self, my higher self, and ask for guidance, ask for energy, ask for light, ask for love. And it's incredible, the feeling of power that comes through. And of course, this is something that has to be done consistently. This is not something that you do one time and you're like, oh, I get it. In fact, the first few times you might not get anything. But over time, it's a really powerful practice. And finally, is channeling the divine feminine, connecting to your divine feminine, speaking to that almighty, beautiful, powerful consciousness. And it kind of like tuning into her frequency. When we tune into her frequency, it literally in her frequency, our wounds don't exist. Wounds do not exist in that space of the divine feminine, in that space of just pure light and power. They don't exist. And then you remember who you are, how powerful you are, and you don't let the wounds dictate the show. So those three practices done together consistently and over time leads to a really, really beautiful centered space where you're able to operate from your truth.
Man, that is so powerful. But I love what you said there. When you feel authentically in that power, you have that peace. I think that's awesome. I love that it's not one size, something that you have to set the intention to each and every day and do the work. That's just so powerful in itself, because I think everybody's looking like the world tries to one size fits all, that magic pill. It's the intention. It's something that you have to do every single day to really set it. So I would love to hear, why is divine feminine critical right now in our world? Really having that divine feminine, harnessing that.
Great question. We are in a place where the divine feminine consciousness, like it or not, is rising. She's been sitting there and she's been witnessing us as the world has basically, completely pushed the power of the feminine aside. And she's been sitting there in this space of non-judgment and witnessing this. And now we're finally at a collective consciousness where we're understanding that the history that we've been told was a lie, that a lot of the different things that we've been programmed with are lies, and that we can finally begin to allow the truth to come through. We are in a space in the world where truth is finally being revealed. And it's been hidden this whole time from us. It's been curated almost, so that we don't know the depth of the things that have happened in the past, and so that we can be controlled to an extent, right? So finally, the world is revealing what needs to be seen. And that energy that's revealing it is the energy of the divine feminine. So each and every single one of us, and men and women both, we all have masculine, feminine energy inside of us. Right. So every single one of us tuning into that frequency of the feminine is life-changing for men as well. Like, a lot of men operate really deeply in their mother wounds, and that has to do with feminine energy. That's not being at peace with your own feminine energy. Your mother wound dictates how you view the world. And so beginning to do the work to peel back the layers of the mother wound is really, really powerful men's work that can be done to help with this kind of collective consciousness raising as well. But we're in a very exciting time. A lot of things are going to change, and it's kind of fun to watch.
Awesome. Man, Cam, your message is so powerful and impactful. As a girl dad myself, I'm excited to that we have people like you that are working on this mission of shit, and having that support and setting that strong foundation. As people are building their divine feminine, like, they don't have to have the guesswork. They can have people like you who have gone through the process and have built the way for people to have that model of, to step into their power. Man, it's so powerful, Cam. Thank you so much for spreading your message. But I know one thing. I know people who are listening to this, all the women out there, even the men that are like, man, this is something that I want to step into my power. How can people stay connected with you?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm active on Instagram. That's usually the best way. It's at Cam_Kashani. And also my website, Divinus Lux, that's DIVINUSLVX.com. That's where we have our programs and whatnot listed. And speaking of programs, if I can just quickly plug this beautiful program that we're doing that starts on May 8th, and it's for spiritual women. It's called Fuck Your Programming. And it's all about, it's the revolutionary system for deprogramming self-doubt. And it's a really powerful 8-week immersive where we guide women to a space of absolute power. So if anyone feels called to learning more about that, find me on Instagram. The links are all in my bio or also on my website.
Awesome, Cam. That's such a power. Hey, you guys, I'm going to make it super simple for you. I'm going to put all of Cam's links under this episode. Make sure you follow her on Instagram where she says she's more active there. Send her a screenshot of you listening to her episode. Let her know thank you for sharing her message and sharing her message with you. Cam. Click on all those links. Be a part of her courses coming up here on May 8th. But Cam, if you had to leave the listeners with a message, what would you want to leave them with?
Oh, what comes forward is remembering the absolute necessity of investing in yourself. Like, you're not going to be able to get to that space of absolute self-love, absolute self-trust, and come into what you truly deserve without investing time, energy, and money into becoming that best version of you. I didn't get to where I am by myself. Like I said, seminars, books, coaches. It wasn't me alone. It was me every day showing up for myself 100%. And that's a big part of it. But you have to really invest in yourself, be it financially, time, energy, however makes sense for you, however works best for you. But you got to make that commitment to yourself, to show up for yourself and prove to the universe and to yourself, I'm worth it.
Yes, man, that's so powerful. And that proves, like she said, that you are worth it because you are, like she said. But even better, you guys, I love that she said you don't have to do it alone. And that's exactly what Cam offers you, an opportunity not only to do it alone, but to have support along the way. So like I said, click on all those links, visit her website, join her course. But importantly, don't let this be the last time you hear from Cam. All right, you guys, thank you all so much. Thank you, Cam, so much.